Joining us now, we have on the show Attorney Ferdinand Topacio. Magandang maga po sa inyo. Welcome back to Morning Matters.
Yes, good morning, Ma'am Gretchen. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Una-una ho, na isama po ang pangalan po ninyo dito sa possible plotters to destabilize the Marcos administration. Your thoughts on that? Kayo po ay nandun sa nakaraang rally. Nakita po namin kayo na pumoprotesta. Ito, pangalawang edisyon po ito. What are your thoughts?
Actually, Madam Gretchen, what is alarming here is not that a pseudo-journalist like Montulfo has come out with a list. You know that this is opinion and everyone is free to have his own opinion. They say that an opinion is like a rectum. Everyone has one. What is alarming are the pronouncements of Malacanang saying that that list will be forwarded to the military for investigation. Since when has a discredited journalist been the source of reliable intelligence for the military? Therefore, ito pong mga efforts na ito demonstrate a plot on the part of government to crack down on legitimate critics. Tinatakot po kami, ini-intimidate kami para mablunt yung kinakatakutan nilang puot ng mga taong bayan na ihahayag po namin from November 16 to 18.
And you're one of the organizers of this rally, is that correct?
One of very many, Madam Gretchen. This is a widespread protest movement cutting across all sectors of society. People who are disgusted with what is being called as the greatest thievery in Philippine political history.
Pero bakit ho 3 araw? Usually, pag may rally, ay isang araw lang yan. Pero dito po 3.
Well, sabi nga nila, these are extraordinary times. Therefore, extraordinary measures must be taken. Noong pong Enero, ang Iglesia ni Cristo, of which I am a member, ay nagsagawa po kami ng one-day rally para tutulan yung impeachment. Ito po ay pagsuporta na rin kay Pangulong Marcos na ayaw din sa impeachment, ngunit hindi po nakinig ang ating lehislatura. Kita mo nyo, ang nangyari, nagkandaloko-loko naman yung impeachment, naging ugat lang ng pagkakabuklod-buklod, divisiveness amongst our people. Ngayon po, napakalaki pong issue itong corruption na to. Hindi po lamang milyon, hindi lang bilyon, trilyones po ang involved dito. Kaya baka naman po kung 3 araw ay makinig naman po ang ating pamahalaan for accountability and transparency.
Well, some say it might be an attempt to replicate a people power movement, an EDSA people power movement. Mismong yung kasama niyo po sa listahan, si dating Governor Chavit Singson ang nagsabi at pinayuhan niya ang presidente na mag-resign to avoid a repeat of 1986. At sabi niya, I suggest the president na mag-resign na, baka mas masahol pa ang abutin niya kaysa sa inabot ng parents niya. He should resign already dahil hindi niya kayang hawakan na sa dami ng batikos.
Unang-una po, Madam Gretchen, there is nothing wrong with saying those things. That is part of freedom of expression as enshrined in Article 3 of the Constitution. Pangalawa, mukhang tama naman po ang sinasabi ni Manong Chavit na hindi kaya ng ating Pangulo. Pangatlo, the concept of people power as the people being the ultimate sovereign authority in a democratic and constitutional government is also institutionalized in the 87 Constitution. Kung magugulat po natin, yung 87 Constitution was born out of exactly the kind of people power that we are exercising now. Hindi naman pag sinabing people power, pababagsakin mo yung gobyerno. The people are exercising the powers given to them by the Constitution as the smallest particle of sovereignty and democracy.
Pero pag hindi po siya nag-resign, ano pong mangyayari? I mean, what's the goal of this rally? Is it just
nasa
merely to
kanya po
voice
yun,
out?
Hindi po natin mape-predict kung anong mangyayari. Kaya lang, alam nyo po, ito pong rallying ito, actually, iba-iba po ang panawagan ng mga grupo nito. Hindi lamang po Marcos resign ito. May mga grupo dyan, gusto mag-resign si Marcos. Meron, gusto lamang ay managot, yung mga dapat managot. At ang paniniwala po nila, ito ay dapat isali si dating Speaker Martin Romualdez. Iba-iba po yan eh. But ang the common thread that runs through these organizers is our disgust is our frustration over this corruption that after more than 100 days has remained unaddressed.
And ilan po inaasahan po ninyo na dadalo dito sa rally? At bakit ho ito napaaga? Kasi this was initially slated for the end of the month. Am I correct? November 30. Pinaaga po siya ng mga 15 days.
Iba po yung grupo pong yun na mayroon po silang schedule ng November 30. At siyempre po, ginagalang naman po natin ang karapatan ng lahat ng mamamayan to gather peaceably and petition the government for redress of grievances as what is stated in the Bill of Rights. So, kanya-kanya pong galaw yan, kanya-kanyang mga organisasyon, ngunit isa lang po ang panawagan: accountability, transparency, and a better government.
Oh, but which groups are you expecting to join this protest, 3-day protest?
Ito pong sa Luneta po ay meron pong mga kaanib ng Iglesia ni Cristo. Ganon din po sa Elsa Shrine at meron din naman pong iba't ibang grupo. Kaya nga po, meron kaming organizational committee ng tawag ay People's Council. These are leaders and organizations from all walks of life. Merong mga professionals, may mga estudyante, merong mga maralitang tagalunsod, ibang mga uring manggagawa, mga uring mangingisda, mambubukid, at mga dating kawani o kaanib sa ating militar. Marami po to. It's a broad cross-section of our society.
Tama rin po ba na kasama ang United People's Initiative led by retired military officers?
Opo, sapagkat kapag ikaw ay nagretiro na po sa militar, ay wala na po yung mga constraints na nag-apply sa inyo kung kayo ay nasa military or kayo ay nasa active na civil service, ay bumabalik na po yung mga karapatan ninyo. Not to say that yung mga nasa civil service at nasa active military ngayon ay walang karapatan sa Constitution, ngunit may mga guidelines po yan. Now that they have returned to the private sector, they are free to air their grievances in whatever manner they see fit. Basta po ito ay hindi lumalabag sa batas.
Mga ilan ho kaya ang galing dito sa UPI na retired military?
Hindi po natin malaman hanggang naroon na po tayo, but we expect around 300,000 na katao. Sari-sari po yung mga persuasions, mga political colors, mga sektor, at doon po naman sa Luneta, we expect around 1 to 2 million members of the Iglesia ni Cristo and other groups din po.
May proposal nga ho si dating Governor Chavit Singson. Doon din nga po sa isang programa po namin, nasabi po niya, ay kung hindi, magbitiw na nga po sa pwesto ang presidente at hayaan ng Supreme Court na maging caretaker ng bansa to make way for another election. Your thoughts on that? Do you agree with that?
Kami naman po, alam niyo po, itong aming People's Council we respect each other's opinions. Pero po, speaking as the deputy spokesman of the Partido Demokratiko Pilipino, ang aming pong partido ay ayaw po namin ng extra constitutional regime change. Ang amin po, may karapatan naman po ang taong bayan na palitan ang pamahalaan kahit anong oras. Ngunit, sabi po namin, kung magpapalit po ng gobyerno, it should be within the four corners or the parameters of the present Constitution, the 1987 Constitution. Ngayon, kung magre-resign po lahat ng executive officers, President, Vice President, meron naman pong mekanismo yan kung ano pong gagawin sakaling mangyari po yan. Kung sila ay bibitaw in reaction to the will of the Filipino people.
And how would you differentiate a lawful protest from acts that could be considered seditious or destabilizing under Philippine law?
Ay yung pong crimes of sedition, inciting to sedition, rebellion, inciting to rebellion, meron pa pong crime of coup d'etat sa ating statute books, meron ding crime of terrorism. Ang underlying po niyan ay unang-una, yung rebellion, yung terrorism, coup d'etat, ay meron pong use of arms, yan. At meron po namang yung sa sedition ay if you want to prevent the government from exercising any of its prerogatives over at a certain territory of the Philippines. So malabo po yung maging unlawful yung amin sapagkat hindi naman po kami, wala naman po kaming armas yan, wala po kaming dala, kundi ang aming paninindigan na dapat magkaroon ng pagbabago sa ating pamahalaan. Ayaw naman po naming itumba ang gobyerno at lalong-lalo na po hindi po kami gagawa ng mga bagay na may karahasan sapagkat kami po ay naniniwala that violence will amount to nothing. Wala pong magandang kahihitnan ang karahasan.
Kahapon nga po, nagsalita ang Pangulo tungkol nga po rito sa updates dun nga po sa kanilang ginagawang flood control investigation. Are you happy with the pronouncement? Ang sabi po ng Presidente, he is confident of three things: that those involved in the corruption will be held accountable, that the government will recover the money they stole, at pangatlo, magkakaroon daw po ng reforma.
Unang-una po, what is alarming with the recent pronouncements of the President is that, number one, he is assuring that some of those implicated in the flood control project will be in jail by Christmas, while I am one with the rest of the people in demanding and seeing accountability. I do not think it is proper for the President, the Chief Executive, to be impinging on the prerogatives of the judiciary, which under the Constitution is supposed to be an independent branch of government. Bakit dinidiktahan ng Pangulo ang ating mga hukuman na ipakulong bago magpasko? Ang finding of probable cause is solely within the province of the judiciary to determine, hindi po sa Pangulo yan. Meron pong due process. At while we want people to go to jail for these crimes, due process must always be observed. Otherwise, you will turn constitutional principles on its head. The liberties of none are safe unless the liberties of all are protected. Number two, nagtataka nga po ako sa patuloy niyang pagdepensa kay Martin Romualdez. Alam niyo po, yung mga findings na ganyan, it is supposed to be made by an independent ombudsman na ngayon nga po ay mayroon na tayong duda sa independence dahil niya yan pinilit niya maging ombudsman yan. Why is the President seemingly trying to influence independent branches of government or independent bodies of government into making determinations sa sinasabi niya walang ebidensya? It is not the business of the President to determine where there is evidence to file cases against a person and none with respect to other persons.
And who do you think should be the one investigating or leading the charge dito po sa flood control investigations?
Well, meron na po ma'am na independent commission on infrastructure na nagtataka naman ako, it's supposed to be independent, so why is the alter ego of the President, si Secretary Vince Dizon, very actively involved in inspecting the flood control projects? Paano po magiging independent yung ICI kung merong adjunct of the President's personality, a secretary no less, na nasa ilalim ng executive department ay nakikialam dyan?
Pero lahat po ito ay presidential appointee. Lahat po ng mga miyembro ng ICI, pati na rin si Secretary Vince Dizon, they're all presidential appointees. Do you believe that somebody else or another body should take over, or tiwala po kayo dito sa ICI?
We cannot help that they are all presidential appointees because under our Constitution, only the President has the power of appointment. So lahat po yan talaga. Even the Chief Justice, the Justices, they're all presidential appointees. Ngunit, there should be mechanisms in place to insulate the body once the members or the heads or the chairmen are appointed, to insulate them from influence from the appointing authority. Ganun po dapat yan. That is the principle observed by our Constitution. Ngayon po, pinakikialaman po yan ng alter ego. Kaya nga po, yung secretary is an alter ego of the President. It is a secretary of an executive department. It is an extension of the personality of the President as Chief Executive. Dapat po, ina-insulate yan sa mga ginagawa po. Why is this Secretary of Public Works at the forefront of this investigation? He's everywhere.
Hindi ho ba kasi dahil sa public pressure na rin to come up with results, no? Kahit nga po kayo ay gustong makakita ng mga taong to be held accountable for all of this corruption, is it them trying to somehow expedite the process para mapabilis po ito, may makulong nga bago matapos ng taon?
May ICI na nga po, ma'am eh. There is a right way to do the right thing and a wrong way to do the right thing. So what is happening now is that they are doing the right thing in a wrong manner. Dapat po hayaan yung ICI. Huwag bigyan ng influensya. Ito nyo po dinalaw ng ombudsman yung ICI. Dinadalaw ng mga department secretaries yung ICI. Saan mapupunta? Madidilute po yung independence ng ICI kapag ginawa po yan.
Huling katanungan ho, sir, ito nga po, no, tinanong din kahapon sa press con, kung di ba kasama ang speaker sa listahan, si former Speaker Martin Romualdez, at sabi po nila, ay ayaw naman namin mag-file because of optics. Sa ngayon, wala pang ebidensya na magdidiin dito sa dating speaker. And yung only witness to that is Orly Gutesa, whose affidavit has been found falsified by the Manila Regional Trial Court. Your thoughts on that, no? Parang sa totoo lang wala pa nga po. I mean, what crumbs should lead to the former House Speaker? Bilang nabanggit niyo rin po siya.
Well, again, you are repeating the mantra of the government that there is something wrong with the testimony of Gutesa. Irrelevant na po yung sinasabing falsified yung affidavit because the contents of the same affidavit were sworn to before the Senate. Sinumpa po at siya po ay na-interpellate sa Senado by saying that yung affidavit ay wala na itong evidentiary proof, would say na mas mataas pa ang notaryo kaysa sa Senado. Sa Senado na nga siya sumumpa. Plus, we forget about the testimony of the Discayas na pinigil po nila nung lumitaw na si Martin Romualdez. Anyway, bottom line po, kung ano pong sinasabi nilang ebidensya against Jingo Estrada, Chis Escudero, Saldico, it's practically the same quantum of evidence that they have against Martin Romualdez. Parang pare-pareho lang po yung ebidensya. Bakit ayaw isali si Martin Romualdez? What gives?
Well, dun po sa iba kasi, syempre may ano po yan may naka-link sa mga flood control projects, no? I guess those have to be established within the ICI and the courts as well. In the meantime, maraming salamat po, no? I guess if you could invite the people to your protest rally this coming weekend.
Yes, I would like to invite all citizens regardless of political color and stripe. Wag lang po yung mga violent groups. Ano po? Kasi ayaw po namin ng karahasan. Please join us on the 16th to the 18th. Express your frustrations, express your anger, express your demands in a loud, forceful, but peaceful manner. Kita-kita po tayo roon and we assure you, hindi po kayo, no harm will come to you because we are policing our ranks. Hindi po tayo mape-penetrate ng mga agent provocateurs po. Maraming salamat po. Thank you for the opportunity, Ma'am Gretchen. More power and God bless.
And we'll hold you to those words. Maraming salamat, Attorney Ferdinand Topacio, for joining us this morning.